Hey, it's Felix with 4x4 Agent, and today we're going to go over how to install the GPCA GP grip handle in a Jeep Wrangler with a Sky One Touch sunroof. All right, so the space that you're going for is you're going in between these screws. There's a little bit more space here in between these two versus if you start going to the outside of them. And you're going for that space right there, just to kind of give you a better idea of where that's at. So we're going to feed it through here, and it's going to come out on the other side. You can see the light. Let me get that to focus. And you see how here's a screw, right? We follow that line. There's a dip in there between those screws. That's what we're going to go through. We're going to go through that spot. So let me feed in the first one, and then I'll show you. All right, so it's going to come with these two straps, and then we're going to feed this through there. This just on Velcros. We're going to put them in there, and then it's going to look like this when you're done. So when you attach it, it looks like that. All right, so what you want to do is, now that you have this, is you want to feed it from the outside in between those screws through the gap. And when you go in there and look, it barely just fits, and you kind of want to finagle it a little bit. If you need to, you can grab a trim tool and kind of push it through a little bit on that side. But if you keep kind of just wiggling it while you push, it'll peek out just enough on this side where you'll be able to get it with your fingers. Or if you can't get it with your fingers, pick. You can just kind of reach in there, grab it, and just pull it out with the pick. Just careful, don't scratch up your car. Bam, right there. Pop right in. Or out, I guess. So now then we do the same thing with the other one. And kind of just push and wiggle until we see it. And grab it with a pick tool, catch it. Careful so you don't rip the strap to shreds. I suppose you can use like needle nose pliers to help grab it and pull if you've got short fingers or your fingers can't get in there. But I'm just doing it with the pick, just enough to grab it and give me a little leverage. Help it from the other side a little bit. This one's being a little stubborn, more stubborn than the other one. There we go. All right, it's through. So what I would suggest you do is spread it out, because now you're going to end up feeding both of these through the middle. So you want to make sure you have the space to do that. So first, make sure we're inside of those screws so we have the most space to work with possible. We then want to pull this up and kind of adjust it where we want it. So think about that when it's folded, it's going to be like that. So I kind of want it a little slag there, because when it's folded, I want it to be like that. I don't want it to be like out here. So I'm going to position it where I want it, because now when you go through this next time, after that, it's going to be nearly impossible to move because it's going to Velcro together. So that's about right. So it's down, it's like that. It's up, it's like that. And now we go a set, through here. And this is going to hold it in. So you give it some tightness, and then you're not going to be able to go right over the strap because there's not that much room. You're going to need to start by feeding it through the middle in between the two straps, and then once you get it out here, you're going to have to kind of pull it off to the side. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be A, very hard to do because they're going to start velcroing to itself, and B, there's just not enough space for it to be completely on top of itself. So I'm going to pause it right now, pull it through, and then I'll show you. All right, so I figured I'll just show you how I do it. So I put the handle in the position I want. I bend this over just to kind of hold it in place. Move this one out of the way as much as possible and start feeding it through again. There it is. Okay. That's about as far as it's going to come on its own. Grab my pick, hook it in, and start pulling. Okay. Not enough. We need to use the pick again. There we go. Pop through. Now, part of the Velcro is in there, but part of it is not on Velcro. So what you want to do is from the outside. Let's see if I can show you. From here, you want to kind of get it in place while you're holding it and shove it in there. While at the same time, with your other hand, be pulling it through and over. Now, it's not going to be perfect because, like I said, there isn't enough space for it to go completely over itself. There's not a big enough gap to have 2 or 3 rotations of this go together. So once you get the one side through, you want to kind of just secure it so it doesn't move on you. And then we start working on the other side. So line it up how you want it. So it's also so it's even with the other one. Feed it through. And repeat the same thing on the other side. So feed it through the middle where you still have space. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. This one's going to be harder because the first side is taking up some of that space now. But you should still be able to get it through. There we go. Same thing. Align it on the outside part first to be as straight as possible. Shove it in and pull and go to the side. So what'll help is if you align it on the other side where it's not Velcro on Velcro, where if it's just the material on Velcro, so it's not sticking to itself, the nylon. kind of just, again, same thing, kind of wiggle, 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 wiggle. This is one of those times that 3 hands would be very useful. So if you got anyone who can help you, I recommend you get them involved. All right, we're gonna use camera magic here. All right, camera magic. So we got it in. These things get scratched up because they're going against that. But you're fine. You shouldn't be scratching any paint in there. You're going to be scratching this fiberglass, so it should be okay. It's not going to be super pretty or perfect, but it works. You could potentially get it a little cleaner and neater if you disassemble these screws and pry that down, but I would rather have it be a little bit crooked than risk potentially causing leaks in the Sky One Touch. So then once you're at that stage, you then take this thing and you just thread it through the ends here, and it sits like something like that. Here, I'll show you in a sec. And there we go. And now you have high quality grab handles on a Sky One Touch that don't flop around, that don't hit you in the head as you're climbing in, that tuck out of the way, and then when you need it, flip it down. I would say that's a success. All right, I'm gonna attempt to install a rear one, see if there's any differences, and if there are, I will show you. All right, update. So as you saw, the front grab handles are installed. I started looking at the back row, and I don't think it's going to work the same way. There's much less space there between the bars and the roof. It seems like there's an additional some sort of a metal bracket or something that they tie the roof down into, so there's no space. I tried to shove it in there and it's just not going to happen, especially 2 times around. So there will be a part 2 video. Part 2 is going to show if I'm able to figure out how to get the rear grab handles installed, and if I am, I'll have that in there. If I'm not, I'm gonna put up what I decided to do. I may have to disassemble the rear section that, like I saw in the video. I don't know. I have to explore it further. So this will be part 1, and part 2 will be coming as soon as I have it figured out. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment.